Welcome back to Florida Powerboat Club here on YouTube. This is Stu Jones along with our producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studio as we continue the adventures with members of the Florida Powerboat Club. And we are moving into the fall season now. And who would have thought that the Emerald Coast Powerboat Week, which was once dubbed a summer blockbuster, is no longer a summer event. It's now actually kicking off the fall season, late September here in the heart of the Florida Panhandle. We like to call it the Emerald Coast, and that includes Destin, Fort Walton Beach, and the surrounding communities from Sandestin to Pensacola Beach. We're going to be doing a 5-day stint here with about 100 powerboats, so let's get started by thanking our series sponsors. Our 2022 series sponsors include Blackwater Boats and their sister company, Deep Impact Custom Boats, and their authorized sales center, Plantation Boat Mart, Mystic Powerboats, Cigarette Racing Team and their authorized sales center, Top Gun Yachts, Cigarette Dealer Chief Marine Group, Midnight Express Powerboats, Big Thunder Marine, Concept Boats, Performance Boat Center, Mercury Racing, and Florida Powerboat Club's longest-running sponsor, Nortec High Performance Boats. We'd also like to thank these event sponsors: AJ's Seafood and Oyster Bar, Alicomp Insurance, Bent Marine, dealers for Nortec High Performance Boats, Emerald Grand Resort, our event headquarters, Glasstream Powerboats, and Legendary Marina of Destin, our official marine headquarters, along with Wozencraft Insurance. All aboard! All aboard! Okay, we got drinks, magazines, and are you the server? Are you serving food and beverage? And that was our time travel effect. We're now in Destin, looking over the East Pass here and Destin Harbor from our balcony at the Emerald Grand Resort. Everybody's settled in. Lots of boats in the water already. It's a Wednesday afternoon. It's a beautiful day. We've got fantastic weather ahead. And as many participants will agree with me, it was such a good move to move this event from hot August into late September. And fast forward just one more evening, we are now into Thursday morning, and this is when the festivities actually begin here in Destin Harbor, and we're on the docks at Harbor Walk Village, which many of you know is on the doorstep to the Emerald Grand Resort. Today we're going to be riding on board this 41-foot Blackwater, sponsored by Plantation Boat Mart from the Florida Keys. And this is going to be one of close to 100 registered teams and one of many sponsored teams participating over the weekend. Today's format going to be very casual as we get out and do a fun run on Choctawhatchee Bay and kind of a shakedown for the boats. We're going to end up having lunch over at Legendary Marina at the landmark Lulu's. We're back on the beautiful Emerald Coast with Florida Powerboat Club, celebrating 30 years of this Emerald Coast Powerboat Week. It all got started back in 1993 right here off of Okaloosa Island. Fort Walton Beach and Destin are home center of this event every year. Right behind me, the Emerald Grand Resort, which is our headquarter hotel, and we have marinas all throughout the waterways here. Brooksbridge over that way, and Legendary behind us about 5 miles, who are right now staging all of the early birds on this Thursday as we kick off this 4-day adventure. The 30th Annual Emerald Coast Powerboat Week is going to feature about 90-plus powerboat teams of all descriptions. Today we're riding on board this 41-foot Blackwater, which was brought up from the Florida Keys by Plantation Boat Mart. We've got Mark Fisher at the helm today. We're going to go for a ride and do a little shakedown fun run around the Bay Area and show some of our newcomers some of the checkpoints on the run, at least in the Bay Area. We're going to all end up at Lulu's at Legendary for a lunch. So we've got beautiful weather here in this September weekend. About 92 as a high today, and the temperatures are going to slowly drop over the next couple of days with an 87 high on Saturday. Guys, it doesn't get much better than that here on Florida's Emerald Coast in the Panhandle, joining members of the Florida Powerboat Club. So let's go. and some newcomers, and you'll see some familiar names here on this event. Of course, Larry and Heather Montelero now. Only been just a few months since we saw them. They joined us for the Bahamas Poker Run in June. And a big shout out to the Bull family. They've been on this event year after year in this Eliminator. Nice to see them back. Emerald Coast, a popular stop on their summer tour. And it's Robert McAtee from Oklahoma and Team Robaldo, this 42-foot Mystic. Looks like his team size is growing by event, and it's a darn good thing he got this Mystic 42 because he gets to bring as many people as he wants on every poker run. Robert trailered the boat 900 miles to be here for this event. So let's talk about today's fun run. You can see way off in the distance there, that's Emerald Grand in the background, Crab Island there by the Highway 98 bridge. Of course, we're crossing the bay now. It's not a very big bay. It doesn't take very long to cross it, especially in these kind of conditions. But we're just going to kind of, hit a couple of the checkpoints along the way. One of them is here at a place called Shalimar. It's called Two Georges Marina, and they're a return sponsor year after year. They've been involved in this event, oh God, as long as I can remember, 30 years now. That under previous ownership, it was called Shalimar Yacht Basin, but now with George Fussell Jr. running this place and his family, is called Two Georges Marina, and they actually came up from Fort Lauderdale to buy this facility and take it over, and they've been involved with the poker run ever since, so thanks to them. And we're going to now turn around and head back out into the bay waters and go up along the shoreline and hit another one of our checkpoints. There's really kind of about 3 checkpoints on this part of the bay area. We've got one way at the west end at Brooks Bridge Marina, one way at the east end at Sandestin. We're not going to go there today, but we're just going to cross the bay now. We're heading now in an eastbound direction, and because it's a late Thursday morning, there's really not a lot of boat traffic out here. It's just a weekday, and there will be a lot more boating congestion on the weekends, which is why, as we go over in the captain's meeting, we try to tell everybody to do the course in a single direction, or what we call a unidirectional course, and that really means that everyone is going in the same general direction at one time, and that makes for a safer poker run, in my opinion. And it seems like everyone has adopted that routine since several years ago when we introduced that course map. And it looks now from the background, we're now entering Boggy Bayou, which is where Niceville is, and it's another one of our checkpoints, a restaurant called Wharf 850, and we've made a habit of coming into this bayou every year. So it's just an easy touch and go. And what's great about it, on the actual Saturday of Poker Run Day, there's the opportunity to make this one of our lunch stops because we have such a big event now. There are close to 100 boats registered, and by having more lunch stops, it just makes it so much easier for all the teams to find a nice place where they can dock the boat and be able to get lunch and not have a long lineup or a long wait time. And that has made the poker run go so much more smoothly over the years. So I think this year, altogether, we have at least 4 lunch checkpoints on the Saturday run. And looks like the weather is holding today. Just amazing clear skies, blue skies, not a lot of wind, and not a single cloud. So this is the kind of weather that makes for a great poker run. And we don't have the heat and the humidity that we would normally have in the summer months. This event has always been a mid-August event, but by going to late September, it's really given us much more mild temperatures. Even though it's going to be in the 90s, it's a lot drier and certainly more comfortable. Coming along now, the Mid-Bay Bridge in the background. That means we're getting close to Legendary Marina, which is going to be our final checkpoint today. We didn't go all the way to the east end of the course, which is Sandestin, but many of us are going to find that really easy to navigate. It's just a single checkpoint at the end of the bay, and we give everybody a course map in the captain's meeting. So for those of us who are new, this is really quite an easy course to navigate. And there's a nice shot of Legendary Marina as we arrive. You can see it's a big facility. In fact, one of the biggest in Florida. They have dry storage for about 850 boats and a lot of waterfront docking, floating docks. And it's really a full-service facility in so many ways. Of course, they have a big sales department. They sell multiple lines, I think as many as 15 or 16 different boat lines. But I really like these floating docks that they've added in recent years, and it gives us the extra staging locations to bring in so many boats for a lunch stop. And the Legendary staff are always ready for us and able to accommodate a lot of boats when we come in for lunch. There's that beautiful whaling wall, they call it, that was painted by the famous Wyland artist, all the way around the building. You're just seeing the small side here. Actually, this front of the building is the smallest portion of the building. I think it's on the side is probably at least 3 or 4 football fields long. So it's really an amazing facility in so many ways. Of course, they have fuel here, but they also run 93 octane fuel from this location for those of you running those bigger high performance engines where you want the higher octane fuel. So let's now talk a little bit about the staging aspect of this facility. So Legendary Marina have agreed to be a big part of the poker run by giving us a staging package. So I believe the pricing was somewhere around $1,000 per boat for the weekend. And when you add it up, that allows you to bring your truck and trailer here and get unloaded with their forklift to put your boat into the water and give you docking either in the water or even on a work rack for the weekend. And this is really very convenient for everybody because it gives you the peace of mind knowing that your boat is in a safe marina. And with boats that are worth several hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of you guys have boats over $1 million. It's nice to know that your boat is in a safe facility. And it's even nicer when you can take the boat out of the water and put it on a work rack and maybe flush the motors or just do a little rinse down. Spend a little time just on your baby there, getting her all cleaned up. And that seems to be popular with everybody. Nice shot from the drone. As you can see that big U.S. flag on the roof of the Legendary Marina. You can see that on a clear day from about 5 miles high. Jetliners that are flying at 30,000 feet can easily see that big, huge U.S. flag on the roof of the building. And of course, a very busy facility. Remember that, many of these marinas that are full and taking care of their normal customers aren't usually that welcoming to incoming events or big events where a lot of visitors come in from out of town. But on the contrary, Legendary Marina has been very welcoming, and it just makes it so much easier for us to have a big event like this. Of course, Lulu's one of the more recent additions to the property. I want to say that was about 5, maybe 6 years ago when Lulu's came in and added this, I think it was very much needed, but a big full-service restaurant on the property. And, it was an ideal location for us to have our kickoff Thursday lunch here for the fun run. And we're going to get inside and see what's going on in here. Again, the restaurant management also welcomed us, had an area reserved for a lot of our club members. And that just makes us feel very welcome here in Destin to have such a beautiful lunch facility where we can all get together. And remember that the camaraderie of this event is really what it's all about. The boating is fantastic, but when you can sit and have fun with your friends, many people who you might not have seen for an entire year are here again, and that's just kind of a rendezvous that's very special for so many of us. And of course, a nice sandy beach here at Lulu's. Not to mention, off to the left in that previous frame, they do have Legendary Yacht Club. We all have access to that as well. And like I said earlier, nice to know you can bring your boat up on the forklift and set it on a work rack so you can rinse it off and cover it up for the night. And while they're busy at Legendary Marina, they're also busy here at AJ's Seafood and Oyster Bar on Destin Harbor. And the reason for that is, well, AJ's is our official sponsor dock, and it is a location where we're going to be staging some of our parties here for the weekend. And this is a privilege to dock here. So remember, if you are a series sponsor, manufacturing sponsor, or dealer with the Florida Powerboat Club, these docking locations are really high profile because this is where the party is most of the time. And it's only steps from the Emerald Grand Resort and from Harbor Walk Village. So we jam all of the boats in one by one. And as I mentioned earlier, I said you were going to be seeing some Deep Impact 399s, and there indeed is one of the first Deep Impacts coming into a sponsor location. I think on the left there is a Concept 4400, and I see a glass stream off there in the distance. Of course, center consoles have taken over the sport, and they have certainly taken over the dock here at AJ's. I don't think that every single boat is going to be a center console, but certainly the majority of them are, and they are big, beamy boats, so they're going to fill up this basin in no time. And by the end of the afternoon, it'll be jammed full, and that's when the stereos get cranked up and the underwater lights go on, and it is quite the show. And there is the result, guys. As you can see, every square foot of docking space taken up by this amazing fleet. And it looks great now here. It's about happy hour, maybe around 5 or 6 p.m. But wait till it gets dark and the lights go on, and that's when it really gets impressive. And we're going to focus our attention now on Harbor Walk Village, where the festivities will begin shortly for the Miss Powerboat Week. A beautiful sunset as we look west over the Highway 98 bridge. Of course, all the boats coming in and out of Destin Harbor. And it's Harry T's here at Harbor Walk Village. That's going to be the big party zone tonight. And why is that? Well, that's because we're back with the Miss Powerboat Week contest. A big hit for this event every year, something they've been doing from the early days. And we have kept that tradition going, and obviously it's very popular as we jammed as many people into Harry T's as we could. Now remember, we're actually on the second level of Harry T's. It's more of a saloon bar kind of a area with a big bar. Downstairs is a full restaurant, but everyone just loves this format, and it's a totally open air bar. If you look out to the side there, you'll see basically looking right over top of Destin Harbor and Harbor Walk Village. So getting our judges assembled here in a nice lineup of beautiful ladies, many of whom that we've seen before that are local to the area and have done these events with us. But some of them coming from quite far away to join us, because this has turned out to be a big event in so many ways. And once again, that is Miss Amber on the left, who is our contest coordinator. She books all of the models for us for the FPC as well. So remember that in addition to the contest that's happening tonight with about 10 or 11 participants, there's going to be at least 6 or 7 of the ladies that are going to stick around and join us for the entire weekend. And they're going to be our poker run girls, handing out the poker cards, hostessing at parties, and really just giving you guys the hospitality that you very much deserve for traveling so far to come and join us here at this Emerald Coast event. So let's enjoy the show. This is a cocktail dress night. No bikinis now, guys, because we're giving the ladies a chance to show off their class. And this is a very important segment for the judges. You can see them all sitting here, and they have got to score each of our lovely contestants on this first round in their cocktail dresses. And for me, I kind of like it. It's a classy segment. And don't worry, guys, you're going to see plenty of bikinis in the coming episodes. Well, that was the lovely Lauren, and now we're with Jasmine. And I do want to pay a special tribute to these ladies once again, and I've said this before. Remember, we did the same thing at the Orange Beach Powerboat Week back in May. But you have to remember that a lot of these ladies, are here for the very first time, and they're walking out in front of a crowd of people that they've never seen before. Not to mention the judges who are sitting up front, a total of 10 judges. So I really have to give them credit for being a part of this event. And it's always a very popular night, the Thursday night kickoff party with the Miss Powerboat Week. So we've really enjoyed this format, and I have to thank Miss Amber Content, who comes all the way from Biloxi, Mississippi, to join us every year. And she's been doing this. Actually, she competed for a number of years, and now she's a contest organizer and a model recruiter, and she does such a wonderful job. So next time you guys come back to the Emerald Coast Powerboat Week event, take a moment to find Miss Amber and thank her for doing such a great job every year. And a little shout out to Miss Chloe, who's been here many times before, and always happy to see her come back. But once again, guys, this is the final round now of the cocktail dress segment, and we are not going to find out who the winners are tonight. Remember, we've got a total of 6 episodes featuring this Emerald Coast Powerboat Week event. So every show we're going to give you a little bit more of the Miss Powerboat Week contest, and by the time we get close to the end, we're going to let you know who all the winners are. But like I said, I think they're all winners tonight, right? So I hope you enjoyed the show. And fast forward to Friday morning now as we get ready for the Friday Fun Run, which goes westbound on the course to Juana's Pagodas in Navarre. It's going to be about a 25-mile ride from Destin Harbor. And I think most of the boats are in town by now. What you're not seeing, or what we didn't show, is the captain's meeting, which we held earlier. The Friday morning captain's meeting allows everybody to get checked in and sit down and go over the important aspects of safety and all the guidelines, including mandatory PFDs, which we'll get a chance to see today how many guys paid attention. But there's a beautiful view, the money shot of Destin Harbor, and of course that beautiful Emerald Grand Resort. So it's going to be fast and furious now as we catch up with Mark Fitzgerald, his first mate Laura, on board this Statement 36 Cat Mercury Racing 450Rs. And they have done at least 3 events with us so far this year. They started things off way back at the Tampa Poker Run in April. Then they joined us again in the summer months in June as they joined us for a 700-mile round trip from Miami all the way to the Bahamas and back. So now it's their 3rd event in 2022. A great showing, I must say, as they continue to enjoy this Statement 36 Cat. And you're going to see a lot of this Black Diamond team on this event, as we always do. Not 1, not 2, but 3 boats registered for the event. This one, the 34-foot MTI Cat Black Diamond Express. It's got Mercury Racing 400Rs. And it's one more time with Stephen Doomer in this Loose Cannon 38-foot cigarette. And not too far from home, just 3 hours away, Biloxi, Mississippi is home for them. What's unique about this time when they join us, they have got a exchange student joining them, Noah, who came all the way from Denmark. And Stephen said that it was an eye-opening experience for the exchange student. I'm guessing it was more than eye-opening. He was probably just blown away. And it's another one of those big black boats with the Black Diamond team. This one's called 6 Carat. Why? Well, because it's a big old 59-foot cigarette Tirana, and it's got 6 Mercury Racing 450s, hence the 6 Carat name, and it is a beast. You can imagine a 14.5-foot beam, and we always know that when Black Diamond Express has too many people to take, well, you know this 59 Tirana is going to be the ideal platform. You could fit 20 or more comfortably on board for a poker run. And a nice mix of boats. As I said earlier, you're going to see center consoles and a lot of these outboard cats. A lot of them running 400Rs still, but mostly the Mercury Racing 450R is going to be the engine of choice. The idea of these twin outboards really just taking over poker runs, and it's so obvious here on this Emerald Coast event as we now close in on Mikey Boyle. And he's had to just cut the throttles back because here we are now at the Brooks Bridge where everybody's got to come off plane and just idle through this next section of waterway. Going to see a lot of these big barges going up and down the waterways as we see Jack Stewart passing by in his 32-foot Doug Wright. And his crew has really loved that we brought these poker runs into the area because he lives right there in Panama City. So the Emerald Coast event is only about a 1-hour drive for him. And he also likes to do the Orange Beach event, which is just a little further down the waterway, another hour and a half or so at Orange Beach, Alabama. So these events have kind of become bookends for the summer, one in May and one in September. So the local guys are absolutely loving it. And this 32 Doug Wright, well, it's the ideal boat for these waterways as he just really enjoys these calm waters today. And this shot really just illustrates how beautiful and calm these waterways are along the Intracoastal. And we're not going out in the Gulf at all for this event. Pretty much do the entire course from Sandestin to Pensacola Beach without going offshore. Team Black Diamond now, the 52 MTI, Big Mercury Racing 1550s. He's throwing a big rooster tail now, so that means he's on the throttles as he pushes the boat westbound on the course. He's going to be getting out of the city area now. He's not really pushing it too hard yet because we're just getting out of the Fort Walton Beach area where there's still a little bit of congestion and some speed limits. But once you get away from that area into the open water, you can really push the throttles and run hard. And as an organizer, I like what I'm seeing here because you can see that everyone is nicely spread out, good spacing between the boats, and nobody's really pushing it too hard yet. This is an area where there's a lot of congestion. You can see there's marinas off to the left, and there's a lot of residential homes and docks to the right. So this is where we ask everybody to just stay off the throttles, keep your speed around 50 miles an hour or less, have a lot of spacing between the boats. They've got plenty of chance as we get further west on the course to push the throttles and really open things up. And one more time with Mark Fitzgerald, who I know wants to go a lot faster right now, but you know, he's just being smart. He's holding back on the throttles. He's got a boat in front of him, and that's what everybody needs to do. You just need to practice a little patience when you're going through these congested areas, and just don't try to push too hard. Wait till you get into the open water before you have your fun. And as we said earlier, this event does attract a lot of different styles of boats. Just so happens that CAT we just saw was a statement, and this, of course, is also a 38 statement center console. This one is being piloted by Nick Buis, the owner from Statement Marine, based in St. Petersburg. Nice to have him here on this event. Very active in the powerboat community, and glad to see him out here supporting this Emerald Coast Powerboat Week. And just a beautiful section of waterway. Of course, if you were going to live here, this would be the place to live, guys, with this beautiful view. And this is Wes and Misty Johnston, their first event with the club, and Jane's Addiction, a 38-foot statement, Quad Mercury Racing 450Rs. That's a lot of power. Their first event with FPC, they came all the way from Texas to join us. Now let's join the Fowlers again. Kyle Fowler at the helm of Team Assault Weapon, 38-foot fountain center console. I think we should be giving him an award right about now for so many times being here. And you can always count on Mom and Dad to be joining him. What I like about this team is, first of all, the loyalty 6 times in a row that they've been here for this event. And when they're not doing poker runs, well, they're fishing. Just look at this boat and how well rigged it is for that. And here's another team that's joining us year after year. This is the Haddons in their Concept 4400. And we're going to get a closer look in a second at just how massive this boat is. But I want to thank them for their continued support, because the Haddons took delivery of this boat at this exact event a year earlier, Emerald Coast. They had done a lot of events in a smaller center console, but they wanted a big platform because they have a lot of friends. Quad Mercury Racing 450Rs on this Concept 4400, a giant cabin down below that center console. But look at all the room. You could have 15 or 20 of your best friends on board and not sacrifice one bit of performance. Now let's welcome Russell Kirkland and his crew on this 34-foot Sunsation CCX Twin Mercury Racing 450Rs. They trailered the boat almost 8 hours from Augusta, Georgia to join us. As we get closer now to Navarre in these open bay waters, everybody gets a chance to push the throttles down just a little harder. But sometimes it's nice to just hold back on the throttles and enjoy the beautiful day that it is. And when you're sitting on a big 59-foot cigarette Toronto like 6 Carat, I would be inclined to do the same. I'd be saying, like, what's the hurry? Can we just take our time? Because I'm kind of enjoying the ride, and I'm sure that's what they're doing right now. And another big center console, Chad Von Tilburg in this Concept 4400, one of the newer concepts here on the event. In fact, I believe he may have just taken delivery of the boat. Similar layout to that Dirty Little Secrets that we saw earlier, this 4400 with the big center console and the huge cabin below. Opting for the Mercury Racing Quad 400Rs as his power package, but let's talk about the graphics. This is probably one of the most outrageous paint jobs I've seen on a concept as of yet, and they just keep getting better. Congratulations on the new boat. And it appears to me that we have a concept factory segment coming together here right now as we catch up with Octavio Valdivia in Awesome One. Another concept, 4400. This one, take a close look, guys. It's a lot different in terms of its layout with that huge forward cabin. And everybody having a chance to push the throttles forward now. I'm pretty sure that's Team Grassy Ass, the 38-foot fountain. But you can see a lot of open water now. As I mentioned earlier, there's a time and a place where you can have your fun, and this is certainly the ideal time. And now the concepts getting together for this money shot. You know, they know the factory owner, Eric Avila, is here for the event this weekend, so why not now? What a perfect time to put two concepts side by side and get this amazing footage. Guys, this is done like pros. I don't know if they planned this, but it certainly turned out great. And if we don't put this on the concept website, I don't know, guys, we're missing the boat here. But what a beautiful shot here as we put the two concepts, Octavio on the left and Chad on the right, as they give us this money shot for our sponsor. And just making sure that those other brands don't steal the show. Well, Chris and Shelby Mattingly in their brand new Midnight Express 43 Open 5 Mercury Racing 450Rs. This is one fast ride, and you can see that Chris has decided, well, the helicopter's coming along, so it's time for a race. Push the throttles forward for a last little sprint before they get close to Navarre, and I've got to slow things down as they go through the Navarre Bridge, but that means that we are almost arriving at our lunch destination for today's fun run. And yes, indeed, that is exactly where we are now arriving as we fly up and over this Navarre Bridge. Back off in the distance, you'll see Navarre Beach, and that's where we're going to be headed today, to Juana's Pagodas, the most popular boating hotspot in the area, and that's where everyone's going to kick back and enjoy the sand in their feet, along with a very festive atmosphere and lunch sponsored by Alicomp Insurance. And that's just day 2, guys, of our feature coverage of the 30th Annual Emerald Coast Powerboat Week. We've got plenty more shows to come, so guys, you can't afford to miss any of those episodes. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell so you'll get an update every time the new show is released. Be sure to check out the website at flpowerboat.com for all of the details about upcoming poker run events in 2021, as well as membership information. You can follow us on Facebook at Florida Powerboat Club, and you can follow us on Twitter and on these Instagram pages. Thanks to all of our viewers for your wonderful comments on our page, and you guys know who you are, and I really do appreciate that. But if you have questions or comments you want to direct to me specifically, please use my personal email at stu@flpowerboat.com. I check that daily, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We're going to sign off for now. This is Stu Jones along with our producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studio. Have fun out there, guys. Be safe on the waterways. Wear your life jackets when the time is right, and always respect your fellow boaters. Bye for now.